Hello aspirants, welcome back to Anthropology Concept series. So friends, in today's discussion, let us try to understand basically about what is anthropology and what about the scope and significance of anthropology. So this is very important for us to understand because friends, like what I have observed in most of these students is that so they have apted anthropology as an optional or they are just looking to apt anthropology as an optional. But thing is that most of them are aware and unaware of what anthropology is all about. So in this video, let us try to discuss more about what is anthropology and let's try to learn about it in a systematic fashion. So let's start and let's begin our discussion. So with the first question, that is, what is anthropology? So understanding this is very important because without knowing this, like studying the entire topic is nothing. So let's try to understand what is anthropology. In very simple fashion to say, anthropology is nothing but it's a systematic study of human beings both in time and space. So in very simple fashion, we can say like that. So what do you mean by that? We are saying that it's a systematic study of human beings in both time and space. That means we are going to study about various aspects about human beings across the time and across the spaces. That means we will be studying about human beings from their origins to present. That means from ancient period to modern times we'll be studying, so it is across the time, and we'll be studying about the human beings all around the world, not only pertaining to a particular location. So that's why we will call this particular thing as systematic study of human beings both in space and time, or time and space. So this is one important thing that we have to understand. So now when we look into the etymological aspects of it, so when we look from the etymology and meaning of the word anthropology, so the word anthropology has been systematically, it has been derived from two Greek words. So one is nothing but anthropos. So anthropos basically refers to human being or man. And logos, the word logos is again a Greek word which has been derived from Greek, which means to study or the science of. So etymologically speaking, so anthropology can be understood as the study of human beings or the science of man. So that is the basic meaning of the word anthropology. So try to understand that we are going to study about human beings in anthropology. So it is mostly misunderstood that study of human beings means like we'll only study the biological aspects like evolution of humans. So this is the most misconception that most of the aspirants that has. So this is one clarification. And if we generally talk from the perspective of general perspective, so what does it do? What is the basic aim of anthropology? So anthropology, it aims to understand and study the biological, linguistic, archaeological as well as socio-cultural aspects of human beings. So we will try to study about almost all the aspects of human beings. So human being is a living organism. So we will try to study about certain biological aspects in this. Be it could be cell, be it could be genetics, be it could be diseases, be it could be chromosomal aberrations, or be it could be the growth and development of humans, or be it could be the evolution of human organisms. So all of them will be studying there. And then we will try to study about the linguistic aspects also. So how languages have originated and what are the different types of languages that do exist in the world and what are the reasons for establishing communication. So such aspects we'll be studying in linguistic anthropology. And then we will also study various socio-cultural aspects or socio-cultural things, like be it could be what is society, what is culture, so how they have originated, how they have evolved, and what are the various social institutions like marriage, family, kinship, academic organization, political organization, and religion, and what about the nature, language, and communication. So all of those things we will study in a systematic fashion. So that is one another important aspect in socio-cultural anthropology. Then we have one another aspect, that is archaeological aspect. So here we will be systematically studying so things related to evolution of human beings in a systematic fashion. Then we have to understand about the roots of the humans in animal kingdom, like primatological understanding of human beings. So that also we'll be doing in this. And then we'll also study some broad outlines of culture, like let's say for example, Paleolithic period, Mesolithic period, Neolithic period, Chalcolithic period, Iron Age. So we will be systematically studying in that. And apart from that, we'll also try to study about some of the principles of prehistoric chronology. There are certain dating methods. So we'll study about relative dating methods and absolute dating methods in that particular portion. So this is what basically the things that we study in anthropology. So it aims to study and understand these aspects. So that's basically about what anthropology from etymological and from very basic perspective onwards. Now let's try to look at some of the basic facts about anthropology, because being an anthropology student, we have to understand some of the basic aspects, like who was the first person who has coined, or who was the first person who has contributed to anthropology. So if you look from that perspective, there is a famous Greek scholar called as Aristotle. So you might have heard about Aristotle in ethics also, isn't it? So Aristotle is majorly or basically considered as the father of anthropology. So why he is considered? So he has done some contributions. So earliest contributions, that means he was the first person who has been believed to be coined, defined and explained the term anthropology. So that is one another important thing that you have to remember. So let's try to understand about that in later part of our discussion. So now he is regarded as father of anthropology. Remember this particular fact now. And then Franz-Uri Boas. So Franz Boas is basically considered as father of modern anthropology, because he has immensely contributed for the development of anthropology in India, across the world. So that's one thing. Then he's also regarded as father of American anthropology, and he is very well known to start one tradition called as Bayesian tradition in anthropology. So there are so many followers for Franz Boas, so who is also very well known to just contribute some of the concepts like the concept of cultural relativism, historical particularism, etc. So that is with respect to Franz Boas. Then look at this person, Richard Harvey. So Richard Harvey is a person who is whom we can consider as the first person who has used the term anthropology in English point of view, and he has written a book that is Philadelphus, a defense of the legend of Brutus in the British history. So this book, the Philadelphus, has been published in 1593. So that means in 16th century, Richard Harvey is the person who has used the word the anthropology in his textbooks. So that is, we can see written, documented evidence of the usage of the word anthropology in his books. So that is Richard Harvey's work. And then if you look at other important facts, so here you can have Sharat Chandra Roy. So Sharat Chandra Roy is a person, he is known as Indian anthropological scholar. So he is the first Indian ethnographer. Therefore, he is also known as father of Indian ethnography, and for his immense contributions, he is also known as father of Indian anthropology. So that is one another important fact that you have to remember. And then look at Iravati Karve. So Iravati Karve, in fact, she is regarded as one of the first women anthropologists in India. In fact, she was an Indo-sociologist. Rather, still we'll call her as first women anthropologist. So she has done extensive work and research, and her studies or works ranges from mapping of the kinship and caste to the surveys on contemporary periods. So she worked immensely on studying various aspects like kinship, caste systems and all those things which are central in studying the anthropology. So that is one thing. So Iravati Karve, Sharat Chandra Roy, they are Indian anthropologists whom you have to remember. So that's one thing. So that's with respect to some of the important facts, because you should know who is known as father of anthropology, who is known as the father of modern anthropology, and who is known as the father of Indian anthropology, and who is the first women anthropologist. So like that. So now try to just answer to the answer in your comment section that who is known as father of social anthropology and who is known as father of cultural anthropology in the comment section. So let's check how many of you can verify it and can mention it. So now let's try to understand the definition of anthropology in a systematic manner. See, my dear friends, the definition of anthropology was not same from all the times. So different scholars have defined the word anthropology and in different times from their own perspectives. So when we look at the evolution of the definition of anthropology, so it goes on like this. So for the first time in this 3rd century BC, so Aristotle was the first person who has coined the word anthropology, and he has explained and defined the anthropology. So according to Aristotle, so anthropology is nothing but the gossip, and anthropologist is nothing but a gossiper. So what we are doing here, so simply to say, so anthropology is nothing but it's the gossip that revolves around the man, and anthropologist is nothing but the gossiper who talks about himself. So try to just remember what we do here. So in simple fashion to say, in anthropology we'll be systematically studying about the man, isn't it? So here what Aristotle says, he's saying that anthropology is the gossip that revolves around the man, because anthropologist is nothing but a human being. He's talking about himself, so he is the gossiper who talks about himself. So that's how Aristotle have defined. I hope it is clear for you now. Now look at this second definition or next definition. So the definition is during 14th century to 17th century AD. So in this period, how anthropology has been defined means, during this period anthropology was defined as a systematic study of man as a physical and moral being. So this is what anthropology was considered during 14th to 17th century period. So now if you look at the Aristotelian definition of anthropology, here he is simply saying that it is a gossip that revolves around the man. That means there is no scope, that is, scope is undefined in Aristotelian definition. Whereas if you see in 14th century to 17th century, this scope has been extended for towards the study of physical sciences and philosophical sciences. So this is one another important development or point that you have to remember here. I hope you're getting it. Now look at the next period. In 18th century, Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant was a well-known German philosopher. So he has written a text in the name of the word anthropology. And in this text, he has systematically defined anthropology. So there what he has said, so anthropology is the study which describes or defines the animal origins and social as well as cultural development and progress of man. So that's what Immanuel Kant has pitched. So for the first time, even Aristotle also said that man is a social animal. But when we talk from the perspective of Immanuel Kant's contribution, he is the first person who has brought these words like animal origins of man into the definition of anthropology. So this definition given by Immanuel Kant, it gives us a sort of elaborated scope of anthropology. So what does it say when it is saying or talking about the animal origins? It is talking about the biological aspects. So the scope is extended to biological sciences. When we say socio-cultural development, that means the scope is extended to social sciences, be it could be social, be it could be the humanities subjects, like be it could be history, be it could be the geography, so all those things, and the progress of man. So with this definition, the scope of anthropology further got extended and elaborated. Now let's look how anthropology has been defined in 19th century. In 19th century, E.B. Taylor has proposed or given one definition of anthropology. So according to him, so he is known as Sir Edward Bernard Taylor. So Sir Edward Bernard Taylor is a British anthropologist who again wrote a text in the name of anthropology. So his text is systematically known as Anthropology, an introduction to the study of man and civilization. So this was a book that he has written. So in this book, again, E.B. Taylor has given a definition for anthropology. So what he has said, the study of world remains of the people and the physical features races, languages, customs and practices of primitive people. Now, E.B. Taylor is an evolutionist. In fact, he is regarded as the father of cultural anthropology. And now, his definition was talking from the perspective of the world remains of the people. World remains of the people means it is talking about what do you study in archaeology? You will try to study about the world remains. So it is bringing its scope or extending the scope towards archaeological studies. So till now the scope was extended only till the biological sciences, the physical sciences, or like the philosophical sciences and social sciences. Now with this definition, the scope of anthropology has been elaborated to inclusion of archaeological activities also. So that is one thing that you have to remember. So I hope you can understand that. So now if you look at the other definition, that is during 20th century, what was the thing? So during 20th century, so what we have done means at the beginning of the 20th century, some of the scholars like Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown, Franz Boas, they have defined anthropology. So how they have defined anthropology? They defined anthropology as the study of man at all the levels of development. Study of man at all the levels of development. What do you mean by that? So in each and every level of development, be it could be the simplest man or the complex man, be it could be primitive man, the modern man, or be it could be at any level. So we will be studying that. So this definition has incorporated the vast scope of study of anthropology. So with this definition, so the scope of anthropology has been extended to across all the academic disciplines. So this is one thing that you have to systematically remember. So with this, like we can see the scope of anthropology in across all the realms of our study. So be it could be history, be it could be geography, be it could be physical sciences, be it could be social sciences, be it could be medical sciences, be it could be humanities, be it could be any other academic discipline you take. So we can have the relevance and we can study about about that particular thing in anthropology, because systematically we are studying about human beings. So all the disciplines have been prepared by the man, developed by the man. So that's why we can study all of that. So this is one such thing that put an end to or solution to the divided opinion on the scope of anthropology, whether anthropology is a science subject or whether anthropology is a humanities subject. So rather what anthropology is a beautiful blend of humanities as well as sciences. So that is one thing. So that's one thing. So now if you see in modern times, there are certain scholars like A.L. Kroeber. So what A.L. Kroeber said, so A.L. Kroeber, in fact, to say he is one of the pioneers of American cultural anthropology, and as well as he is also famously one of the famous student of Franz Boas, father of anthropology, modern anthropology. So now what he has defined, so he defined anthropology as anthropology is the science of man. So very simplest definition. So etymologically also you might have understood that. So anthropology is the science of man. This is one definition given by A.L. Kroeber. And another important definition given by A.L. Kroeber is that anthropology is the most humanistic of the sciences and most scientific of the humanities. That means look at the beauty of this definition. So which is extending the scope of anthropology to both humanities as well as sciences. So this definition is a beautiful definition which brings the scope to both the arenas. So scientific arena as well as humanities arena. So that is one important aspect. Now after A.L. Kroeber, we have Clade Kluckhohn. So Clade Kluckhohn is also one of the American anthropologists and the social theorist. So what Clade Kluckhohn told, or how he defined, means out of all these sciences which study various aspects of the man, anthropology is the one which comes nearest to the total study of man. So this is what one thing that Clade Kluckhohn is saying. So we have understood that anthropology will be holistic study of man. So that is what he is trying to pitch. So this is a definition given by Clade Kluckhohn. Now if you look further, we have M. Jacob and B.T. Stern. So what Jacob and Stern they have said means like anthropology is the scientific study of the physical, the social, the cultural development and the behavior of human beings since their appearance on the earth. That means Jacob and Stern have incorporated almost all the sections that we study: physical, socio-cultural, as well as other behaviors of the behavior of man since its appearance. Means like it includes archaeological section, it includes linguistic section, it includes biological section, it includes socio-cultural section. So it has elaborated scope of anthropology in multitude manner. So that is one thing. Now if you look at the final or concluding definitions. So if you look from the perspective of Eric Wolf, so in 1964 Eric Wolf has given one, 1946 or 1864 he has given one definition. So where anthropology is the most scientific of all the humanities and the most humanistic of all the sciences. So you can recollect the A.L. Kroeber's definition where both of them are giving same essence. So they are extending the scope to scientific studies as well as humanities. So this is one thing that you have to remember. Now, after looking all these definitions and after understanding this much about anthropology, now what conclusion we can give is that we can conclude anthropology as anthropology is the systematic, scientific, holistic and integrated and universal study of human beings across all the levels in both time and space. So this is how we can define anthropology at the conclusion. So I hope you have understood and you have got what anthropology is all about. So in very simple fashion to say, anthropology is nothing but the systematic, scientific, holistic, integrated study of man across all the levels of development in both time and space. That means extending throughout the world and in all the different periods. So that's what anthropology is. So my dear friends, I hope you have understood the meaning and definition of anthropology. So with this, let us try to conclude today's discussion. So let's try to wind up our discussion now and let's meet in another discussion with another important topic. So till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you all.